internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours Script. Let's get right in today's video. Grab the popcorn because we're going to the movie theaters. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, because today's episode is just going to put everything together. It's done. It's set in stone. $100 XRP is going to happen whether you like it or not. You could sit there all you want and think it's not going to happen because of 100 billion XRP in circulation, but you are dead wrong. And I'm telling you, we are going to be the last ones to laugh. And I'm not saying this because you want to hear this or this is going to give me clicks and views and likes. No, absolutely not. I'm just stating the facts. So when it does happen, people will come back to these videos and see since day one the conviction and that facts and mathematical breakdowns and logic just doesn't lie. And in a moment, you're going to listen to Paul Brody speak. And when you hear him speak, he's going to sound exactly like me. And maybe some of you as well in terms of how big this ecosystem is going to get. It's pretty, I can't believe this. You know, I mean, this is coming from an individual that's worked at EY for almost 10 years. And EY is pretty much like a Deloitte or a PwC or the KPMG, right? Offer a variety of services. But these guys are also looked at as like the educators in the ecosystem that provide fundamental information that is valuable. And listen to what he says here. This is crazy, and shout out to Cypress for bringing this to my attention.
Is it worth anything? Yes, right? This part of the conversation is called the Great Liquidity Reservoir, and I am going to struggle to convey just how much capital there is behind this regulatory dam, because the numbers are just monumental, right? How much money is there? Well, let's start with the most liquid of the liquid, right? Bank deposits, stocks, and bonds. $400 trillion, right? Certainly more than my current retirement nest egg, and plenty of money to buy you a nice place in central London or San Francisco, right? 400 trillion. There's another 379 trillion in real estate, right? Gold is 13 trillion by itself. And then you get to the entire crypto ecosystem is like 2.5 trillion, right? I'm not going to say all of this money is going into crypto, but quite a lot of it will end up in crypto, and a huge amount of it is going to end up in tokenized digital assets. I'm not going to say all of this money is going into crypto, but quite a lot of it will end up in crypto, and a huge amount of it is going to end up in tokenized digital assets, stocks and bonds. $400 trillion. $400 trillion.
Like, are you absolutely kidding me? Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and smash that like button. Do you realize how many times I have been saying on this channel that we are at $2.1 trillion as this whole ecosystem, and we are going to go into the trillions, the multi-trillions? It's happening. It's going to happen, and it's going to take patience. If getting rich was easy, everybody would be rich. Okay? Understand that. If you can't buy an asset and hold, like, what are you doing? It's just that this crypto ecosystem really messed up people's mentality when it came to investing, because a lot of people got rich quick. But if you think about the stock market and how real investing was going, you know, it's not get rich overnight, right? It's like buying Tesla, buying Amazon back in the 2000s, for God's sakes. But this video is about to erupt. Okay, call the firefighters, because this video collage I'm going to put together, you're going to hear Daniel Eden. Daniel Eden previously is currently working at the BIS Innovation Hub. He's the advisor for Solution Architect. And then previously he was at R3 for almost 4 years. And in that time, in January 2018, That is also when Corda was leveraging XRP. And then you're going to hear Eric Van Miltenberg working at Ripple for almost 8 years. When you're watching this video, look at the body language and go back to what we have been discussing on this channel, because these are hour-long videos that are compressed into less than 10 minutes. And this is the first time I'm putting all this together. Some of you guys may have seen some of the videos, but this time it's all together, and listen to what they're saying. It is very, very important. Please, please, for the love of God, don't miss this little segment right here. This is very important. Listen carefully. And Ripple is involved in all of this, heavily incorporated. Call me delusional, call me a tinfoil hat, but at the end of the day, I know for a fact that I'm going to be the one laughing. And for the doubters, they're going to be kicking rocks. So ladies and gentlemen, before I play the video, I got to bring this to your attention because it's never going to come back again. The XRP credit card skins. It's beautiful. Link in the description down below. Every purchase comes with 2. So if you buy 1 at the cart, that comes with 2 skins. If you buy twice, you get 4, vice versa. And then the silver XRP pendant, we have, I believe, less than 5 now. And all this will be shipped out next week. And the XRP credit card skins will be automatically included with the XRP pendant purchase, okay? You're not gonna hear me talk about this after next week. The XRP credit card skin will never come back, okay? And I'm telling you, this is a piece of art. So now, sit back, relax. I'm telling you, this is gonna be beautiful. I mean, you heard what Paul Brody said. And you know what? I think we're gonna play Paul Brody again and just put all of them together and just think about all the information that we covered, okay? Really hunker down and get close and listen very carefully. Look at the body languages, and also keep in mind that there are information, valuable information that they cannot discuss publicly. And I know that I've worked in a regulated industry my whole freaking life, okay? They're not going to tell you the valuable parts, obviously. But listen to this. I mean, I can't wait to watch this over and over again personally myself. I'm going to stop talking. Take it away, Brody. And then you're going to hear Daniel, Eric.
Is it worth anything? Yes, right? This part of the conversation is called the Great Liquidity Reservoir, and I am going to struggle to convey just how much capital there is behind this regulatory dam, because the numbers are just monumental, right? How much money is there? Well, let's start with the most liquid of the liquid, right? Bank deposits, stocks, and bonds. $400 trillion, right? Certainly more than my current retirement nest egg, and plenty of money to buy you a nice place in central London or San Francisco, right? 400 trillion. There's another 379 trillion in real estate, right? Gold is 13 trillion by itself. And then you get to the entire crypto ecosystem is like 2.5 trillion, right? I'm not going to say all of this money is going into crypto, but quite a lot of it will end up in crypto, and a huge amount of it is going to end up in tokenized digital assets. I am not going to say all of this money is going into crypto, but quite a lot of it will end up in crypto, and a huge amount of it is going to end up in tokenized digital assets, stocks and bonds. $400 trillion.
Well, I don't want to disappoint you, but I probably won't be able to answer that question. I mean, I can make some general, I can give a general trajectory, but I probably won't be able to answer it accurately. I mean, a bridge currency, you know, the definition is a currency that's an intermediary between two other currencies, right? So I want to move, let's say, Swiss francs to pounds. The question is, will I be able to do that one-to-one? Let's think, it's not really a conversion, right? But will I be able to find someone in the UK that wants to take my Swiss francs, and will someone in the UK find someone in Switzerland that's willing to take their pounds? So the degree to which that connection can be made with an efficient pricing structure, there's really no reason for a bridge currency. Right, because you can trade this asset against this asset, this central bank money against this central bank money. The practicality of it, though, is that if you think about the number of different currencies and how much liquidity needs to be available to make those transactions, it becomes less and less efficient because there simply often isn't enough liquidity there. And when I say liquidity, what I mean is depth of the market. It means that if I want to now send, 100 Swiss francs, maybe I'll find 100 Swiss francs for pounds. Maybe I'll find a counterparty. But if I want to send 100 million, I may not find a counterparty. So there isn't enough liquidity, maybe, between Swiss francs and pounds for me to send $100 million every day. But there may be more liquidity if we pool all of our liquidity into one type of currency. Now, there's a historical context of how that generally comes to be, how that currency comes to be. But once you pool all that liquidity, you can create more efficient pricing structures because you can say, okay, well, instead of looking for a counterparty directly, if I have the Swiss francs looking for the counterparty in British pounds, well, what I can do is just do Swiss franc dollar, dollar pounds, and Swiss franc dollar will have enough liquidity for my $100 million transaction, and pounds to dollar will have it. And then that currency becomes the bridge currency. So it's a very practical thing at the end of the day. It's really about liquidity. At the end of the day, it's really about liquidity.
Now, the second one is more complicated. It has to do with liquidity. So imagine that you have a pair of currencies for which there is not a complementary demand. You need to go and search for a third-party currency in order to make this settlement actually happen. And this really complicates things. So we need to put pieces of technology that can make more efficiency this use of liquidity so that more transactions can be settled.
Have this pre-funding, and instead you can use a digital asset to have global liquidity on demand.
The reason they're there, though, is because of the deficiencies of creating sufficient liquidity or the issues with denominating things in different asset prices because the conversion is so tricky. But if there's technologies that maybe mitigate some of those problems, I think it calls into question the relevance, the future relevance of these bridge currencies. So, I'll give you a hypothetical example. If in the future we have common platforms that are connected across economies that can solve this kind of liquidity issue between currencies, hey, if Swiss franc to pounds will give me a better rate if I do it directly against each other versus going through the dollar or the euro or the yen or any other rich currency, then that's what I'll do. I mean, it's a very, very practical thing at the end of the day. And the motivation for this is, we hear a lot of things. I think, you can look at the digital euro that talk about strategic autonomy and payments, so wanting autonomy over their own payment systems. There's a general desire by most jurisdictions to denominate their assets. Think about government bonds, think about exports, things like that, in their own price, because if you're denominating it in dollars, you're taking foreign exchange risk with your own exports in a currency that you have absolutely no control over. So there are very, very reasonable reasons to want to look at these type of tools more closely. And I mean, I can't really predict what the future will hold, but my sense is that there will be a more competitive, open, innovative approach to how we move around value. And I think that's kind of that would be really my only observation of the future going forward.
At the end of the day, obviously, a good product, good service that solves a real world problem, provides real utility. It's not just about speculation and get rich quick and pumping up the price of crypto. I mean, all these things will line up. I think they're starting to line up. I see the companies are really stepping up.
Things that might go wrong. Because I don't want anybody watching at home or in the room to be like, wow, the BIS Visa, and they think that the world's just awesome and Ripple's going to solve it. But obviously, this is a hard problem. I think the technology has ripened to a point where people are no longer terrified by something just because it's new. You might disagree. They're more terrified than they should be, but they should be more courageous.
There's self-inflicted wounds as an industry, right, that have happened and have caused people to be scared. And so I think we're going to need to see more good actors that are acting, responsibly, that think about compliance first and foremost versus, it's some bother that I have to deal with. We need governments to step up and provide regulatory clarity. I think we see some great examples of that around the world, in Singapore, in the UAE, in the UK, not so much in the US. And so, if you have clear rules, you have people who follow the rules, and then companies can innovate and invest with confidence that there's going to be an ROI, and they're not going to get rug pulled because some government who hasn't chosen to sort of be explicit about what you can and can't do is going to surprise them. So it's a combination of things, in my opinion. And at the end of the day, obviously, a good product, good service that solves a real world problem, provides real utility. It's not just about speculation and get rich quick and pumping up the price of crypto. I mean, all these things will line up. I think they're starting to line up. I see the companies are really stepping up. Certain jurisdictions, certain governments are stepping up. So I think a lot of reasons to be optimistic.
The kind of defining factor of networks is that the more things are connected, the more value there is to the network. So when we think about kind of transitioning one network to another network, there's going to be some type of critical mass and some kind of tipping point and threshold at which there is more value in the new network over the old network. And I think that that's kind of what we're all kind of circling around, is in different business contexts. I think we understand that there's desirability. The G20 was mentioned. That's a huge motivation and desirability for these type of payments to improve. I think it was mentioned that the technical feasibility of most of these things has been proven, both in the public and the private space. And now it's all about the kind of business viability. So as more and more businesses become viable in this space, I think that'll pull in more actors, it'll pull in more value. And when these new type of networks start to hit that threshold, I think we're going to hit that tipping point, and then things will just kind of happen somewhat naturally from there. So I'm definitely optimistic.
And even though I'm the one that has been cheerleading this process, I think that we should speak up for the things that might go wrong. Because I don't want anybody watching at home or in the room to be like, wow, the BIS Visa, and they think that the world's just awesome and Ripple's going to solve it. But obviously, this is a hard problem. Otherwise, it would have been solved a long time ago. And one of the big issues that comes up is like the compliance cost.
Ripple for the past probably 7 or 8 years has really been working with mostly financial institutions, always with businesses, so we're a B2B company, to provide technology that allows for a more efficient movement of money cross-border. But over time, as our customer base got more comfortable with the technology and saw the opportunity and saw that we were able to abstract the complexity away and really just deliver the benefit they were seeking, we then sort of went to this next step, which was addressing liquidity by leveraging a digital asset. In our case, we use one called XRP as a bridge currency. But to this next step, which was addressing liquidity by leveraging a digital asset. In our case, we use one called XRP as a bridge currency. But to this next step, which was addressing liquidity by leveraging a digital asset. In our case, we use one called XRP as a bridge currency between really a fiat transaction. So from the end user's perspective, they didn't really understand or need to understand that crypto was involved. All they saw was faster, it was cheaper, it was more reliable, it was available 24/7. So all big improvements on what was happening before. So we're licensed now in many states in the US. We have a BIT license in New York. We've applied for licenses throughout the world. We have our major payments institution license recently granted by the MAS in Singapore. So over time, we really want to be that go-to place where you can move money quickly whenever you want, however you want, and then start to layer on these other building blocks, if you will. So custody, I heard, was mentioned in the prior panel. Super important. We made an acquisition there last year. A Swiss company actually named Medico is now part of the Ripple family. And you can imagine tokenization is on the list, et cetera, et cetera. So, and you can imagine tokenization is on the list, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway.
That is music to my ears. And for the individuals that really understand what's coming down the pipelines, wow, that's all I got to say. And it's comical that there are individuals out there that may watch this video and it'll just fly over their head like a 747 and no idea. That is a very scary place to be in. Very scary place to be in. And if you guys came all the way to the end, I'm going to share something with you guys. We're going to recover our lost DSAM wallet. As you guys could see, I was on my way to an island and it suddenly dropped out of my hand. And I know a lot of people get worried about, oh, what happens? You just recover it. You just recover it with your seed phrase and you have your funds back. You just need to get another device. So I will do that video for you guys so you guys could check it out. And if you guys haven't already, the DSAM wallet, link in the description down below, up to $130 off for 2, $50 off for 1, link in the description down below. But I will make a video in regards to recovering your assets if you were to lose your physical device. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Very valuable, very, very valuable. You know, people are going to, watch these years from now and say, wow, how did I miss this opportunity? Well, that's okay. Remember what I say. Go to my videos and take a look at how many people watch it on average. On average, 13K. Beautiful. I mean, you see how early we are, guys? I'm telling you, your patience is going to be rewarded very handsomely. Don't let the price distract you.
Building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch. I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.